Yo, what is going on, guys? We are back for another installment of the top 5 champions in one specific class. Today, we're going to be talking about the Mystic class. So, the Mystic class has had so many new champions this year, it's really crazy. There have been a lot of new additions. But before we get into the top 5, we are going to mention a honorable mention for a champion who doesn't quite make it into the top 5, right on the cusp, but I think deserves to still be talked about. Now, it really hurts me, but Sorcerer Supreme is today's honorable mention. He just doesn't quite make it the cut for me for top 5. And it's because, don't get me wrong, like Sorcerer Supreme is one of my favorite champions in the entire game, and I absolutely love this dude. Used him for so many fights. Sold a 6.2 champion with him many times. Sold that Annihilus boss in Alliance War with him. I love this dude. But the problem is, for all the other Mystic champions on this list, they're not matchup dependent. And Sorcerer Supreme is just so matchup reliant that, if you don't bring him into a fight where there's buffs, really that's the main thing is buffs, he's not going to do much for you. It's just going to be very slow. His rotation is going to suck, and it's just not going to be a good time. Whereas a lot of the other Mystic champions on this list, you can bring them into non-cosmic, non-buff matchups, and they're still going to do their job. And they are even better for certain matchups outside of like buff-heavy matchups and stuff like that. And they're just not matchup dependent, and that's where Sorcerer Supreme really lacks. And it sucks because he's so cool. He's one of the coolest looking champions in the game. Second to maybe Guardian, but yeah, I really do love this dude. I think he deserves that honorable mention. It's just he's very matchup dependent. Also, no immunities, nothing like that, so that does suck as well. He does have a very nice safety net after you throw a special 3 with his damage capability. I really do like that. And with some Mystic Boost, you can get some very crazy damage going in the right matchups, but again, just the matchup dependency is what prevents him from being in the top 5. With my opinion, again, this is all my opinion on my list, so it's cool to disagree. Now, coming in at the number 5 spot, we have Longshot. So, one of the champions that was released this year. Longshot is really cool because, he's the first Mystic champion that just, his main focus is damage output. Just absolutely insane damage output that this guy is capable of. It is honestly ridiculous. When he first came out, I was thinking he was going to be the best champ in the Mystic class just based on his damage output. But outside of the damage output, he's got some abilities for buff control, which is nice. Some Fate Seal on his special 2, some Doctor Strange type Nullify with his signature ability. But the real thing about Longshot is that damage output. And I actually think that he could be an Abyss option, like a main clearer in Abyss, not only for the cosmic fights but for other fights, just based on his damage output alone. I'm going to be taking him to rank 5 very soon and test him out in Abyss and some other places. I think he's just a really, really good champion. I think I've been sleeping on him a little bit recently, and I think the entire community's been sleeping on him as of late. But I think Longshot definitely is a top 5 Mystic in this game. Very good addition, and just his damage output is extremely impressive. So Longshot comes in at the number 5 spots. Coming in at the number 4 spots, we have Magic. So a lot of people, it's weird, like the community, there's like 2 main factions in the community. One part of the community that absolutely loves Magic, absolutely rates her, thinks she is as good as she is, and another part of the community that just like, Magic, she's old, she's outdated, she can power lock, that's all she can do. And I don't know, I find it weird. I feel like Magic is definitely, I think she's just the best power locker in the game. Doc Ock and like Dormammu have some really good power locking abilities, but Magic is just a lot better damage output, I think, especially paired with a couple of the right synergies, and just more. Like Doc Ock, his power lock is really good, but Magic's is just, it's so easy, it's so seamless to get it going and to keep it going, and she can just lock down so many fights and just take control with her power locking ability, which is really great. And that's not all she has. She also has her Limbo. Now, Magic's Limbo is one of the weirdest abilities in the game. For the longest time, she was one of the worst defenders in the game because there was not many answers to her limbo back when I first started playing, and the limbo would just nuke you down, and it was like there's nothing I can do. Like it was silly, and so it's funny in that regard. But also when you're using her offensively, the limbo is just so powerful, not for the damage it's doing to the opponent, but just for the amount of regen that you can get from it. You can just play a play style, where you cross the bar of power, you get limbo, and then, maybe there's limber on a node, So what you can do is you can just let the opponent attack you, hit your block a bunch, bait a heavy attack, boom, now you got your opening, then boom, limbo heals all that back. You pair this up with a recovery master, you can actually heal more than what you lose. Limbo is just a really good mechanic, Magic's block efficiency is nothing to write home about, but there's ways you can play her that makes her block damage like net positive. So, I think Magic, just for her power lock and limbo alone, she's just so good, man. I think she deserves that number 4 spot on the list. I recently took her to rank 5, and in Alliance War specifically, she's just done so many great things for me. Been really great against the Mojo bosses. Give her some Mystic boosts and cycle specials with the Morningstar synergy and the Warlock synergy. Both those together, bro, that's nuts. Just the Morningstar synergy is good enough, I have found. But yeah, Magic, just a very crazy champion, and very glad that I did a rank 5 her recently here. I think she deserves that number 4 spot. So moving in to the top 3, coming in at number 3, we have Sorcerer Supreme. So Sorcerer Supreme, I have her as a 6-star here. I gave her an Awakening Gem and some Signature Stones, and I feel like I might have been a little bit too hyped on Sorcerer Supreme initially. I do think she is really good. I think I'm putting her at 3rd best in the entire Mystic class, because I do think she deserves it. I think she is a much better version of Symbiote Supreme, much more controllable, and just some really updated and cool new abilities. But I feel like I might have been rating her a little bit too high, but I do think she deserves the 3rd spot. So, she has great buff control, which is definitely something you want in a Mystic champion. She's got her Nullify on her Special 1, her Nullification Aura. She's got Slow, which is very rare for a Mystic champion to have, and it's a very reliable slow. You can keep slow up for an entire fight. She's got Armor Breaks, which is just a good utility to have, and they're very potent armor breaks as well, so you can really get some good damage output out of them. And then you have one of the coolest abilities in the entire game, her Regeneration. Now, not only it's a regeneration passive, so it's not a buff, so you don't have to worry about like buffet or being nullified or anything like that. But it's you originally see the regen and you're like, that's okay. It doesn't heal that much as a regen. But what it gives you is you heal 75% of the damage taken from a blocked hit while you have this regeneration active. And you can pair this up with the recovery mastery to make it even higher. And so you in turn make her block just one of the best blockers in the game as long as you can heal. It is crazy. I literally fought an Annihilus, went down to 20% health, shot right back up to 90. It was awesome. It was really awesome. So I think Sorcerer Supreme, she's very customizable, very versatile, and she's got a lot of abilities, very good abilities. She also has increased ability accuracy, which is really nice to have, so your abilities won't fail as much. I feel like that is really cool. And it's just, I love the customizableness. You can you have pre-fights to control which phase you want to start in. So if you need something in a certain fight, you need a certain phase to start in, boom, you can do that. You can also change phases through your heavy attacks to get to the next blessing. And she also has some power control with one of her blessings, which is pretty nice. And with the L3, you can make her regen, her armor break, or her slow basically activate every time you throw a special attack for the rest of the fight, based on whichever one you have active when you use your first special 3. Which I really like. Again, just goes back to that customizableness about her, which is just, I love that. I love champions that are customizable and versatile to play, because it really, it's up to your imagination how you want to take them into a certain fight, and I really love that aspect. So Sorcerer Supreme comes in at the number 3 spot. Now, coming in at the number 2 spot, we have the reverse of Sorcerer Supreme, which in the fact that I think I was rating her a little bit too highly. We have a champion that I think I've been rating recently a little bit too low, and that's Black Widow Clairvoyant. So Black Widow Clairvoyant comes in at the number 2 spot on this list, and it's weird because like when she first came out, a lot of people didn't think she was that good. Her damage output was pretty bad, to be fair, without suicides. As a rank 3, like the damage output was quite minuscule. But as a 565 with running suicides, it takes her to a whole nother level. What I really love about Clairvoyant is, she has all the things that make a good Mystic. She has power control ability, extremely good buff control ability, and not only does she have buff control, but she has unique buff control, in that no other champion in the game has what she has, which is her her buff immunity debuff. That's such a weird thing to say. Her buff immunity debuff that she can apply to the opponent. Now, what this does is it makes them immune to buffs. So it can even work on Thing. So Thing, he cannot be nullified, but if Black Widow Clairvoyant, there's a 50% chance for her to place it with against science champions. So if she can place that buff immunity debuff on Thing, he loses his buffs, which is really, she's the only champion in the game that can do that to Thing, which is just so cool. And it's just the best nullify in the game because it's not even a nullify, it's something different. But she also does have a nullify, so I really like that. Her power control isn't that good, but it's there, which is nice. And again, she is extremely customizable to play. You can pick which mode you want to be in. Each mode does something else. First mode, is when you drop an L2, you're going to regen, which is awesome. This regeneration is based on the damage you deal. So again, with suicides, it's just more regeneration. Another one of her abilities is the power steal that I was talking about, her power control one, which again isn't the craziest, but it's definitely useful and can really help you in fights. And it's actually a power steal, so you're taking the power that you drain from the opponent, a portion of it. And then the last one is just for more damage output on her special 2, which is really nice. So again, I love the customizableness, versatileness of Clairvoyant. But not only that, the reason why I put her so high on this mystical list is because of her immunities. Immunities are quite rare. I don't know about rare, but in the top Mystic champs in the game, in my opinion, there's not a whole lot of immunities. In Magic, Sorcerer Supreme, Symbiote Supreme, Longshot, immunities just, they're very lacking. Clairvoyant has 3 immunities, but it's not just she's immune to them. It's pseudo immunities based upon which stage you're in. You're immune to that one thing, and it's very easy to change stages. I feel like Clairvoyant could greatly benefit from choosing which stage she starts in, similar to Sorcerer Supreme. I'd love that because, for example, so Clairvoyant's immune to bleed, poison, and incinerate in each of her respective phases. So it makes her very good to suicides because you start the fight in your bleed phase, so no bleed on you. You do one combo ending with light, boom, you purify the poison, you're in the next stage, boom, suicides are gone. But for example, if you're fighting a Human Torch, you never want to use a Mystic against Human Torch. I've tried using Clairvoyant against him, and it's not a good idea. You can get lucky and get, but like by the time you do 2 combos to get to incinerate immunity, there's a good chance you'll be dead. There's just a good chance that you'll be dead unless you get very lucky and not proc the incinerates on yourself. But yeah, I wish you could just pick which one you start in, but it's not too difficult to swap and to really control which phases you need for certain parts of the fight. So yeah, I definitely think Clairvoyant deserves that number 2 spot. Immunities, and just having a lot of what makes a Mystic champion a solid top tier Mystic champion. So yeah, Clairvoyant gets that number 2 spot. Now the number 1 spot is actually Morningstar. So more specifically, Morningstar with 5 souls. Now this is another honorable mention on the list. She's not actually number 1, but if she was just came out of the box with her 5 souls, she absolutely would be the number 1 Mystic champion in the game. She'd be one of the top champs in the entire game because with all 5 souls, she has 50% perfect block, energy resistance, and the main thing here, her with the 5th soul, you had a 20% chance to lifesteal 50% of the damage dealt to opponent. So that's on average, 1 hit in each combo. That really does add up. Like, Morningstar fully ramped up is just ridiculous. She also gains more damage on the special one per captured soul. So your L1s start to hit really hard, and it's just, wow, Morningstar with 5 souls is absolutely insane. But the problem is building her 5 souls sucks, and it's tedious, and it's not going to be useful in a lot of areas of the game. So unfortunately, due to that reason, she doesn't make it on the list. Because just building those 5 souls just really sucks. But, you know, in places like Incursions where you really can build those 5 souls, she's one of the best champions for that because it's the right form of content for her. But now the real #1 champion of the game, I'm sure you guys all know who it is, Dr. Doom. So Dr. Doom is hilarious to me because when he first came out, the entire community was disappointed. Seriously. Like, the entire community was disappointed. And it's crazy to look back now, the way we look at Dr. Doom, but when he first came out, the entire community was disappointed. And it's because the hype level for Dr. Doom was up here. It was up here. You can't even see. You can't even see the hype. Like, it was unbelievable amounts of hype. And the same with the expectation. The expectation of what Dr. Doom could be in this game. Way up there. You know, you can't even see it. They were expecting, like, a mystic Corvus with power control, guaranteed crits, evade counter, like all this stuff, all this crazy stuff with Dr. Doom. And then, like, when we got him, he might be this good, but, you know, compared to the expectations, you can't live up to expectations like that. I think that's what really happened. That paired with the fact that he's a little bit complicated to play, and he's really only this good once you master his rotation. So I feel like those were the 2 factors. And it's just funny, because it's just really funny to look back and see the community reaction to him now. Like, my video ranking 5ing Dr. Doom had like 20k views. And like, usually when I would rank 5 a character of his caliber, like in a new character, usually it would get like at least like 30, 40, sometimes 50,000 views for a really good character. But I was like, damn, like, people are not interested in seeing me play Dr. Doom. Like, what? This guy's good. So it's just funny to me. But now everybody knows Dr. Doom is like the best. Now, why is he the best? So let's talk about it. Now, the crazy thing about Dr. Doom are his base stats. This is the craziest thing about Dr. Doom. His block proficiency is 70%. That's really good. Let's compare that to like Captain America Infinity War real quick. So 70% compared to, what do you got for me, Cap? 77%. So, you know, it's rivaling that. What about Red Guardian? Let's see his block proficiency here. 69%. So higher block proficiency than even Red Guardian has, which is just crazy. Just such a high base block proficiency. And the other really cool thing is his critical resistance is 36% now. I mean, I don't even know what the average critical resistance is on a champion. I mean, let's go take a look at Mcoc, for example. Her critical resistance is 0%. 0% critical. Is that like normal? Is it normal to have 0? Let's look at Longshot, for example. I never look at this stat. I just know Dr. Doom's is really good. Yeah, another 0%. So Dr. Doom has such a high number in his base stats, which basically makes him immune to critical hits unless a champion has an extremely high critical rate or a guaranteed critical hit. He's basically immune to crits, which is just insane, man. It's such an insane. So if you slip up, get hit, you know, they're probably not going to crit. Which is just crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And then you compare this with his aura of Hazarath. I don't know if I'm saying that right or not. Which basically is very easy to keep this active for an entire fight. And again, if you slip up, if you get hit by a heavy attack or a special attack, the last hit of it you will resist, basically take no damage, and be chilling. Which is great. So 1 part specials and 1 part heavies, you just resist them. 1 hit. It's crazy. The amount of tankiness Dr. Doom has built into him in and of itself is awesome. And then he's also got some immunities. So his immunities are immune to shock, and armor break, and armor shatter, which is some good immunities to have. Armor break is like a really niche but really good utility to have. It's going to be very useful against the new champion coming, Airwalker. With the Dark Tides, he has to have armor breaks to deal his damage. Dr. Doom will be immune to that kind of damage because you can't armor break him. He also has hits that deal energy damage instead of physical for his basic attacks, which is nice to have. He has, again, another unique kind of play style where with his, he can just get heavy attacks in pretty easily. As long as the opponent isn't a shock immune, you can do medium, light, and then boom, heavy. And heavy just deal more damage than regular medium does, and it also applies Fate Seal, which is nice. So yeah, that's great. And then with his special attacks, you can really get into this loop where you can just keep using your special 3s. The special 3 gives you a nice Fury. You're able to attack 2 of these Furies. You're able to keep these Furies up forever if you play Dr. Doom correctly. And just once you learn his cycle, it is just insane. The cycle goes something like this. Special 3, and you want to push your opponent to as high as power as you can. The more the better. Ideally a special 3. Your special 3 will give them a lot of power as well, though. So if they're only at 2 bars of power, I'll probably give them 3 bars. Then after your special 3, you go medium, light, medium, and that'll push you all the way to another special 1. And then you use the special 1, and you're going to power steal them because they're at 3 bars. They're going to drop below 2 bars, and you're going to power steal 2 full bars of power. And now you just use your special 3, you just use a special 1, and now you're at a special 2 before the opponent can even do anything because you apply a passive stun to them. And now, with this special 2, you could have 1 Fury, you could even have 2 Furies. You can drop this, apply some chunky Incinerate debuffs on the opponent, and deal some nice damage. Or you can just go back to another special 3, which if you use the repair method, you can get back to in 1 combo. The reason you can get back to in 1 combo is because with the aura of Hazaroth, your light attacks actually power steal 3% of the opponent's current power, gaining 200% of the power stolen. So, it's very easy to get back to 3 bars. And then you can just keep this cycle going. Just keep them in this locked cycle, and it's crazy. And they don't throw specials if you're using the reparry method correctly. And your block efficiency is already ridiculous as well. It's taking a couple blocked hits. It's crazy. And I use this all throughout the Abyss for all my Dr. Doom fights. I played Dr. Doom probably for like 8 hours, probably more, in Abyss, just doing these cycles. And it's just crazy, and it's so good. And you can turn normal fights into Doom fights. Like, he just takes control of these fights. It's really crazy. It's really crazy, and it's great. And it's also he has unblockability specials, which is crazy. L1 is always unblockable unless you got specific debuffs on you, like Slow, Petrify, very rare debuffs to have applied to you. And as long as you get that aura up, your special 2 is also unblockable, and you can drop it anywhere on the screen. The opponent can be at the other 2 sides of the screen. You drop your special 2, and it's going to connect, and it's unblockable. So it doesn't even matter. Like, it's so much going on with Dr. Doom, and he's great. He is so great. And he doesn't need any synergies. That's what I love about this guy as well. He doesn't need any synergies to be crazy. And he's just got everything you want in a Mystic champion. He's got great power control. He's got great buff control. He's got Nullify. He's got damage. He's got survivability and just tankiness. He's just got the whole mystical package, man. So that puts him at number 1 in the Mystic class. So yeah, that was my list for the top 5 Mystic champs in the game, with a couple of honorable mentions. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, drop a like. There will be more coming for the rest of the classes. I'm very interested to hear your guys' opinions. If you agree, disagree, let me know down in the comments below. Let's just have a nice, respectful discussion about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.